So we were just talking about the Houston Texan fans throwing a fit about the Titans Oilers throwback uniform. What is your opinion on that?
Hey guys, I'm gonna
Um,
let you guys talk and I'm gonna just listen to you guys.
okay. Hey Bryce, how you doing? I think that we're gonna give them a lot of reasons to be pissed off.
Hmm.
If a uniform is only one, hey, whatever. They're just mad that their whole uniform is a throwback. So
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm really excited to find out, and we were just talking about this as well, is we got the two possible games that we're going to, well, we know it's going to be two games that we're going to wear them in, but what two games do you think it's going to be? Warren Moon was on a news station saying that it was probably going to be, um, or he would hope it would be the alumni game where all the Houston Oilers are coming into Tennessee. Um, and then he also said, that he hoped it would be against the Texans. So, what is all of y'all's opinions on that?
What is the alumni game? I'm sorry, I'm spacing.
So the alumni game is
Oh, which
when.
game?
Oh, I'm not sure which one is our alumni game yet. I think
Wow.
they'll
I know
announce
what it
that.
is. I just didn't know which one.
Yeah, they hadn't
Yeah,
announced which one it's going to be yet.
I think it's the Atlanta Falcons game for sure. Eh, that's gonna be the homecoming game.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be that one.
I think it's gonna be the Atlanta Falcons game for sure.
It has to be the
Um,
Tech. One of them has to be the Texans. I mean, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah,
I'm
just
not
yeah.
gonna be upset if it's both the Texans. I mean, just throw shade in both games. I'm cool with that.
That'd be pretty funny. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that'd be pretty funny.
So does it have to be both home games, both
Uh,
throwback
Yes,
games?
yes,
Okay,
that
because
was
this
the
is
rule.
our
yeah,
home game
that was the rule.
uniform,
Okay,
and they didn't get our away game uniform in. But she
uh,
did try, so we would have had probably like 3 or 4 games in a throwback this year. She would have been able to get that in,
gotcha.
which would have been sick.
Yeah,
But so what I've heard is every light blue white pants game that we would have had this year is going to be our throwback games. So it's just I guess that kind of goes down between the coaches and stuff like that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a executive.
Yeah, what scared me was I saw something today, um, where they mentioned that the the throwbacks are going to replace my favorite for the entire year. So like we won't see this jersey is what I saw. I don't
Yeah,
know.
mm,
yeah. We will not be seeing the light blue Titans jersey this year because it is
Yeah.
going to be replacing that, and but for good reason though, because we've literally lost every game we've wore our light blue jerseys on since we got the new uniforms.
mm,
So
I don't
hopefully.
think that's right.
Oh, we got somebody in the comments saying Team Malik. So what's up? Let's talk about that real quick. I sent everybody a video clip of Mike Vrabel from the other day, where he was talking about the three quarterbacks, and he said, Malik Willis has shown glaring improvement, while Will Levis is, learning how to handle and be a NFL quarterback. So kind of somewhat of what they were saying about Malik last year. And then of course he said Tannehill, is being, shown consistency, especially learning the new playbook. So what is y'all's thoughts on the quarterback room? Do y'all think that, we'll keep three quarterbacks? Just what is your thoughts in general?
I definitely think we'll keep three quarterbacks since Mike Vrabel's the one that pushed for that rule to be put in. I mean, and as far as Malik improving, that's what he's supposed to do. He's doing his job. He's supposed to improve from his rookie season to his sophomore season. And so if he wasn't improving, then I think that we could have something to worry about. But I mean, he's improving, and then Will Levis is being a normal rookie, and that's what he's supposed to do. And like, I think we're finally going to get to see quarterback progression the way it's supposed to be. We're not going to have to see a rookie thrown in there and just figure out, have to figure out the game, which is a good thing. Um, so I think that he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be improving, and so that's his job, and everybody has to do their job.
Yeah. So y'all agree with all that?
I mean,
Oh,
I agree.
100%.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I mean, just the fact that you've got two different levels there. So when they're competing one on one, you got to remember that rookie portion is
Yeah.
because one person has a year under their belt, the other person needs a year under their belt, and we'll just see where Malik stands, especially with all the improvement, because that's what time will get you. I mean, an entire season watching Tannehill, a couple of games where it went south, but he had no offensive line, receivers couldn't get open. So it's something that you learn more and more. Like he's now had Malik has 2 off seasons on top of that one season. So it's like extra
Well,
experience.
technically, it's only been one off season because I mean, when you're getting drafted, you really don't have an off season. You go from the NFL draft into rookie mini camp into, the whole 9 yards,
OTAs.
OTAs, and you just really don't get that off time. And so, I think a big thing that helped Malik Willis through this offseason was just kind of meeting up with Ryan Tannehill and getting to, practice with him and, legitimately learn under him, where there's not so much pressure on having to get out there and perform because Tannehill was hurt, I kept saying on our podcast, on mine and April's podcast, throughout the season last year, don't sleep on Malik. And I said that because Malik, when he was on the field, he would have those glimpses every now and then that just would show you, okay, this guy has that it factor, but he has to put that it factor, and make it a consistent game.
Yeah.
He's got to be able to progress. I think that was one of his biggest struggles last year was
Jerry,
progressing.
I think that Haskins is going to be.
Oh, your mic got muted, buddy.
Yeah, I think he's still muted.
Yeah, you're still muted. There you go. Oh, you muted again.
I think he's trying to get his dogs to be quiet before he speaks.
Oh yeah. Well, while he does that, but I just think I think, Malik Willis definitely has a lot of areas that he needs to work on to, improve on, and I think if he's able to improve on those areas, then he's going to be, a decent fit to be a backup or even a potential future starter. As far as Will Levis goes, I do not know enough about him yet to sit here and say I would take Will Levis over Malik Willis, and I know a lot of Titans fans might feel different because of the season we had last year, but you're also putting a lot on Malik Willis' shoulders considering we had such a poor offensive line. We had the worst, play caller known to mankind as our play caller. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take in all the considerations. And then who was he throwing to? I mean, even Mike Vrabel said that at one point last year was, who the H do you expect us to throw the ball to? So, now that we got Hopkins, we got, Burks out there, hopefully Phillips will get out here and, show up and show out. We got Chig, maybe with this reconstructed offensive line, we might see something, kind of better, What's y'all's thoughts on all that?
Well, I can tell you, I think one thing that's helped Malik this year is Will Levis getting drafted. Actually, he doesn't have to go through all eyes kind of turn to Will Levis, being that the Titans traded up for him, and I think they will carry 3 quarterbacks. But I think the pressure's been taken off Malik a little bit just because of Will Levis being drafted to the Titans, and I think he does have a lot to prove. I think he's done a great job so far this offseason, from what I can tell, for everything I can hear. So that's my
Yeah.
thoughts on that. I think they will carry 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
To what Gary said, they actually like he mentioned that it's not like we've seen flashes from Levis, but it's not about the flashes. It's about making those flashes consistent, and that's what time teaches you. And routine and getting used to everything that teaches you more consistency. And that's
Yeah.
what's important. So I think as long as he's developing that, that's what coaches are looking at. They see that, and when Vrabel says he's made a lot of progress, it means he's seeing consistency. He's seeing less mistakes.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I think that we're going to get a lot more understanding of who Will's
Malik
right?
Willis.
Not
We're
Willis.
talking about we're talking
Will
about
Levis.
Willis.
Levis. I think we're
They
gonna
both
get to
have
see a
Will
lot
in their name.
more-
It's okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get to see a lot more of who Levis is in playoffs. I mean preseason. I think that they'll probably do him a lot like they did Malik last year, and kind of have him out there at the forefront for the most part of the preseason, and kind of let Malik kind of take a step back. I mean, and the same thing goes for what was being preached about Malik last season is, he Levis is a rookie, and it's not fair for us to judge him against quarterback that's been there a year, 2 years, 5 years. We have to judge him for what his abilities are. And I think with them having 3 on the roster, it's going to be a lot easier for him to grow and kind of develop. And as that competition gets, the yearly, then, it's going to get just to be a better and better competition to where we may have a quarterback, dilemma and a good one. But I think that the plan will probably be, just based on history, to look at Will Levis and give the fans a real look at Will Levis in the preseason a lot more than you'll see Willis. And I don't think that we need to jump off the bat and say, well, they're playing Will Levis more, so, he's probably definitely going to be 2, blah, blah. I think they just want us and themselves to be able to get a look at him in game speed just to kind of see where he is and where they need to work, just like they did Willis last year. I don't think Willis was ever meant to play last year. It's just that things happen the way they happened. And I said on our podcast several times, if we see Malik Willis first year, it's going to be really bad. And it was. It was a horrible situation that we saw him in.
I mean, it wasn't fully Malik Willis's fault either last year.
Oh no, I'm not saying that his play was bad. I'm saying that the situation for the Titans was bad.
The whole overall, and that's what we're talking about, is the whole overall situation. It was just everybody like Brian's saying right here. Why isn't it everyone judged Malik after last year? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, people are judging him, not fairly, because I mean, you really got to take into consideration this is a team sport, and we always really preach about it's not just one player on the field. It's everybody. It's all 11 guys, and that offensive line, like let's be honest, it was unacceptable. For any NFL franchise last year, let alone the play calling. I mean, we could really do a deep dive into all that. But, I think with Tim Kelly there, I think with the new offensive line there, and I think once boots start hitting the ground more consistently, we're going to see a lot more of Malik Willis and probably, Will Levis too, at some point. But I personally feel like, our 3 quarterbacks is going to be Tannehill by far. He's the most consistent QB we have on our roster. Then it's going to be Malik Willis and then Will Levis. And I'm just going off of what we've seen so far, and so far I've seen, Will Levis be, not that accurate when it comes to, passing. I see Malik Willis, doing a lot of progression, from last season, and Tannehill just looks like he has something to prove to everybody out there. Um, so that's kind of how I feel on the whole situation, and I'm really excited to see this quarterback battle because, like April said, either way, it's when you look at it from the long haul view of everything, is now we have two quarterbacks who's going to be competing for a future starting job and a future backup job. So it's only good that they're getting this experience now behind Ryan Tannehill. So I'm really excited. But let's talk about some other positions real quick. What do y'all think about the running back position? Do y'all think that if Derrick Henry goes out here and balls out, do y'all possibly see us, extending his contract even further?
I do
Uh,
How can you
personally.
not?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I
it's
say,
a smart idea. Plus, um, now with the whole Haskins and his legal issues and everything, I mean, you're looking into the depth of the running back position. Not that we couldn't just draft another one next year and possibly hit gold again because Titans are good at doing that. But at the same time, I feel like Henry still has so much left in the tank. He's not your regular running back. He
he's
doesn't
not.
like you can talk about some of these people like Ezekiel Elliott and other ones that just they started slowing down right about this age period. But have you seen his workout videos?
Well, if we technically want to get technical with it, Ezekiel Elliott started slowing down about year 4, year 5, and then
Yeah,
the same thing. Who was that running back for the Rams?
the Rams. I can never remember his name.
He got traded away. It was oh man, I cannot think of his name.
I always draw a
And that's
blank on
gonna
him.
it's gonna drive me nuts. But he'd had like 4 or 5 stellar seasons, and then he bottomed out. But with Derrick Henry is a different breed of running back. He has that old fashioned running back mixed with a new school, you know,
Well, you've seen it.
playing
Todd
styles.
Gurley.
Yeah, it's
Todd
gonna
Gurley.
be Todd
Todd
Gurley,
Gurley. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So
You,
I personally think that sorry, that helmet. I think Derrick Henry's going to get out here, and he's going to ball out, especially if this offensive line is better than it was last year. I mean, the man with a terrible offensive line still picked up over 1,500 yards last season. You put him behind a good offensive line, plus with distractions and DeAndre Hopkins and Traylon Burks now, like you're not going to be able to constantly stack 9 in a box because if you do, we're going to throw it over your head, so you're going to have to defend, the receivers. And when you do, guess what? Henry's going to take it straight up the gut. And, I feel like he's going to hit anywhere between 1,800 to 2K again.
I totally agree. I know they
I
say.
think. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, I know the average age for a running back to hit the wall is 30, but I don't think that applies to Derrick Henry at all. Like Titan Fox was saying, have you seen his workout videos? The
Yeah.
man is incredible. He's built like unlike any other running back that's pretty much been in the history of the NFL. And 1,500 yards behind that piss poor line last year, and the fact that he's had more receiving yards, they've opened up his game, and I think that's just another facet of his game that's going to help the Titans out this year. I think he's going to have probably 400 to 500 reception yards this year.
Yeah, you were talking about seeing his workout videos. I mean, if you go back and watch the uniform reveal videos, see him standing up to next to
Jeffrey
Big
Simmons.
Jeff. He
Yeah.
was like he made Big Jeff look normal,
Yeah.
and I was just like, "Good God, Derek! Like my man is big."
Does it not seem like he just gets bigger and more
Each
muscular
season,
every year?
every year,
Every year.
right?
I mean, that's what I thought.
It's a fact.
Yeah. I think Derrick Henry is going to be Derrick Henry. I said it last week, and the week before that, and probably months before that. I think he's definitely a Frank Gore type running back. I think he's going to be in the league for a long time. What I don't know is the contract situation because it goes back to it's all a business deal. So this is a make or break season for the Titans, period. Not just one player. It's for the Titans, period. When they win after D Hop, they said we want to win now, right? They're getting to the point where Henry's wanting a ring. He's, getting into the Hall of Fame, things like that, and a ring is going to help him excel do that. I think that he's looking at the Titans just like the Titans are looking at him. Is this an organization that's going to get him a ring? As much as he loves Tennessee. So I think that his agents and him will be looking at the Titans just as much to say, okay, if we don't get a ring here, where can we go that we can help? We can get a ring, end our career, and still go out great instead of having, to go out in kind of a slum just because of the team that I'm with. So I think that it just depends on the performance of the Titans as a whole, along with his performance. But I think, like I said, Derrick Henry is going to be Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is always going to do great. I think it just depends on now. It's more of he's watching them rather than they're watching him.
Well, let's also let's think about it like this. D Hop said the exact same thing, and the team that he was looking forward to land with, he wanted them to be a playoff contender. And let's keep the facts like they are. The Titans at one point last season were 7-3 before we had a explosion, and it was coming because everybody kept getting hurt. We were playing with a poor offensive line, but if you fix those two key things, you fix that offensive line for the offense, and then you fix the injury, list to where we're not, down 96 people each season, then, that puts us right back to where we were in playoff contention. My only concern with that is, and I know everybody is, pretty big on Tannehill, but my only concern with that is Tannehill able to get us through the AFC Championship game, and get us to the Super Bowl. And that's my big question, is if we can fix the offensive line, we fix our wide receiver problem, we definitely address the offensive coordinator issue, and then we got to fix the injuries. And if we do that, then, we're right back there. But can we take it a step further?
I think so. I think you have to understand what you were saying before and kind of listen to yourself, because like you said, you can't put it all on one person. And you've also stated that Tannehill does well when he has a good team. So when he has a good team and, we can't put it all on one person, I definitely believe he can get us there. He can get us past there. So I think we have to stop at some point doubting who we have behind center and get behind him and support him as long as we know what we're working with.
Yeah,
he's proven to me that when he's got the proper pieces in place, he can be the franchise quarterback.
Exactly. You don't have to take it on his shoulders. And all I hear a lot of people say is, can he be the guy to take us there? Well, guess what? There's 10 other guys that's got to take us there. It can't just be him. No, he's not going to be able to, just put us on his back. And that's okay. Not every quarterback can do that. And we have to stop comparing him to the quarterbacks that can. Not everybody is a Brady, okay? So, yes, he's going to need 10 other guys, but he's supposed to because it's a team sport.
So, my thing is I just I have the Bengals game constantly stuck on replay in my head, when it comes to Tannehill. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is, yes, that was a playoffs game, but even if you go through the regular season, there's multiple games. And granted, last year, like we talked about, it wasn't Tannehill's fault solely because of the offensive line, but there
and the play calling
and the play calling and stuff. So, but my thing is there's been, even when we had Arthur Smith as our offensive coordinator, and we had one of the best offenses in the league, there were still those games where, Tannehill would just go out there and he just wouldn't look like, that normal Tannehill that would get you the win. He would overthrow balls just randomly, and you don't see it a lot, but you do see it. So my question is, can he put that behind him when it counts the most.
I've seen him put it
That's
behind him last year when he had a sucky team. I mean, for him,
but we
it's
did.
over. We're
But
the ones dwelling on it. For him, it's over. We're the ones dwelling on it. And we didn't get a good chance to see that last year because of the line and the play calling and everything. So I think this year we're really going to be able to see him.
yeah, so
And
this
I
year,
love the fact that we play the Bengals because I think that that's going to be a really good kind of revenge game for him as well.
I really
Yeah.
I
think
have
that.
to say that.
as long
I'm
as he
sorry,
come out
go
with
ahead,
his
Ed.
helmet on.
Well, I was going to say, I think Tannehill, I think, feels like he has something to prove this year. And now that we got D Hop and Trey Lynch, I mean, he's got as many weapons as he did when AJ was still here. I mean, this is probably I mean, you can't deny the weapons that he has this year. So, I mean, it's make or break for Tannehill this year. And I think he knows that. And I think he's going to be determined to play like a franchise quarterback.
Well, yeah,
Not
I
only
mean,
that, you hear a lot of criticism about, Tannehill's great in the regular season, but he chokes in the offseason or in the playoffs. And I'm like, okay. I think that if you remember the reports and stuff that Tannehill, after the Bengals loss in 2021, that he went into that dark place and he got therapy and everything. And all I could think was he's fixing whatever mental issues he may have when the game pressure is on the line. I was like, this year, let's watch him in the playoffs. And he brought us to 7-3 before he went down. And it's just like, well, didn't get to see him in the playoffs, so guess he can prove it this year. But I still have faith that there was something fixed, that he took the deliberate steps to shake that mental bug that was on him.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like, what else does he have to do? Like, we're the ones still dwelling on it. Now we have to be able to give him the chance to move past it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. It was 2 seasons ago. We gotta move forward, or we're gonna be the ones holding him back because we're gonna keep calling for his head and everything, and we're gonna get people that aren't ready in there, and it's just gonna keep being the cycle. So it's time for us to put our big boy pants on and just get behind the man behind center until he gives us a reason not to.
It's time to be optimistic this year. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly.
Time to be optimistic. I know somebody in the comments is going to disagree with me, but time to be optimistic about your Titans this year.
Oh,
I
definitely.
think Brian already did.
Yeah, I didn't say any names.
So, let's see. We talked about, Derrick Henry. What do y'all think about Tajay Spears?
I will say that Tajay, everybody wants to call him Tajay because we had Tajay Sharp. His name is spelled with a Y. I'm pretty sure it's Tajay, but I don't know. Anyways, so many people were mad, first off, that he got picked in the 3rd round when we still were lacking at wide receiver. And then everybody heard about, no ACL in one of his knees, which if you actually find out the way that the knee works is somebody without an ACL in that knee, like 0. I think it's the MCL actually can strengthen up to the point where it's not needed. I mean, there's a dozen different receivers out there that have had good long careers without that, but people are so scared of it. Like, don't let him be a kick returner because he's just going to get injured. That no ACL. And I'm just like, I don't think that it is. Hines Ward used to get hit harder than any wide receiver I've ever seen get hit, and he would stand up with a smile. He had only one ACL.
Yeah.
Just one in his
Well,
one
I
knee.
guess on the bright side, he can't injure his ACL.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, if you don't have one, if you don't have
We'll
an
be out
ACL,
for a
you
year.
can't carry one. I don't know if that's the way to look at it. You don't have
That's
an ACL,
one less
you
guy
can't
on the
carry it.
injury list there, guys.
Hey, that's a
That's
plus
what-
right there.
Oh, my God.
No, it's only in one leg. He still has the other one, I believe.
Okay. I mean, with all the injuries we have, I mean, it's good to laugh at that.
Yeah.
Well, that's where everybody gets trepidatious, is because you go through the 2001 where we dress, 91 to 93 players, most in history other than the strike year. Then you come in and 2022 and your season is just like, can this keep happening to us? How does this happen twice? We have the most in the league this year.
Mhm.
This is just, and you get so scared because, you saw what happened to Julio Jones. We brought him in, all this excitement. Yeah, injured. Like,
The good thing is we
almost
did hire new
immediately.
trainers this year, So I look forward to seeing that. We did hire
And
a
that
new
just,
coordinator, got kind of rid
new
of the
turf, too.
alternators.
Yeah,
we
new
got
turf,
turf.
new dye cherry people.
Um,
So
the
There's
best
Some
really
of
thing
our
I
people are
heard,
doing yoga.
yeah, the best thing I heard come out of training camp, and this was the single best sentence I read was, he's working through the new playbook. That means there's new plays.
oh yeah,
And there's
me
a
and
possibility that run pass is not in there.
yeah, that's
Run,
what
run,
me and
pass,
Bryce
punt,
was
yay.
talking about earlier. Because I sent y'all the video clip of Mike Vrabel talking about all three quarterbacks, and he said, of course he said Malik Willis with the glaring improvement, Will Levis, trying to learn what it takes to be an NFL quarterback, and then Tannehill, with the offseason consistency, in regards to learning the new playbook. So I told Bryce, I was like, that's the one sentence out of that whole video I want people to focus on, And so I'm glad that you noticed that too, because that was that run pass is not going to be what gets us to a Super Bowl, you know. We're gonna have to have a healthy mix up, We're gonna have to throw the ball down the field, We're still gonna have to run it, but we have to find a way of balancing that and picking the play call for the best situation, and God, if I see another screenplay on 4th and 5, I will
And here's
I
the
will take a
thing,
bazooka
too.
to my TV. I'm not
I
even
just,
playing.
and I really want to take a minute to just really praise Mike Vrabel, and I think is it Ran? Because when they were going to the draft, Ron, they were getting so much flack on wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. But here's the thing, Mike Vrabel is very football smart, right? So there was news during the draft about DeAndre Hopkins, but his contract at the time was way too much. And we were going to have to lose some very key players in order to get him. But Mike Vrabel was very consistent, very smart the way he played the whole DeAndre Hopkins situation. He knew that he wanted DeAndre Hopkins here. DeAndre knew that he wanted to be here. So they played off each other's emotions, got Arizona to release him, and then he knew where he was coming. He just wanted to make it dramatic. Like he knew he's been watching us, and he sent there's so many interviews. I think I sent it to Bryce and them about where he said he's been watching us for a while because he knew that we're where he wanted to land. He wanted to play with Derrick Henry and everything. He knew from workout. He knew when he came and worked out here that this is where he was going to land. He just had to keep the drama going, and I think part of that drama was instigated by Vrabel just to kind of because he didn't want to give away all his cards. So I just want to really say I think that we have a really good head coach here, and I hope that he's here for a while because the way he played that even off field, if he's that smart off the field in football, imagine how smart he is on the field in football. Hey, Haley.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Oh, girl, I'm always late.
Hi.
Hi.
I was listening to them talk the whole time.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good.
that's what I'm gonna continue to do.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. I had to go make a bottle for one of my twins real quick. And look at you, Haley, rocking the throwback.
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Oh, I'm so stoked, man. I'm so stoked. And I'll tell
Me
you
too.
what. So we were talking earlier about Derrick Henry standing next to Big Jeff and how he just made Big Jeff look like a normal sized person. That was insane.
It's crazy.
So I had a quick question since I got all of you guys here.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about the
Yes.
last 2 years with Todd Downing, how it's been so the play calling was so predictable that I could call it from my armchair. Like I knew what was about to happen. I'd even say to my wife, I'd be like, "Bet you, run, watch this. There's no reason why they shouldn't pass right here on third, or why they shouldn't run on 3rd and 2. Oh, now they decide to pass. Yeah, but when it comes to that, the tight end scheme that we've got now. So we've got Trayvon Wesco, who's we brought in to be a consummate blocker. We've got Chig and Wiley. Wiley probably won't get that much play time as a rookie, but with Chig, I know he did some good blocking last year. But do you see it where a defensive coordinator sees us roll out into, let's say, a 2nd and 6, and sees Trayvon Walker out there and says, well, they're running, or they see Chig and go, well, they're passing? Like, how would you play that? And do you think that Tim Kelly's going to be better at it?
So for me, I would say if you look at it like this, if you have them out there on the field, but then you also have the threat of DeAndre Hopkins on the field and Traylon Burks on the field, then what if and Derrick Henry in the backfield? Yeah, I mean, what if they're out there, not to block for the run game, but to block for the pass game,
Like use Traylon as like a decoy, and then just straight up drop back play action because everybody thinks you're going to run.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking.
So the possibilities are really endless, when it comes to that. And I think that's why it's a good thing we got DeAndre Hopkins, is because now you're not going to be able to just say, okay, well, they got this tight end on the field and that tight end on the field. Let's stack 9 in the box, because the second they go and stack 9 in the box, Tannehill's going to go over their heads to DeAndre Hopkins or Traylon Burks. It's
like they're running NWI on the outside, and you're just like, yeah, you don't scare us, bro. You're consistent, but you don't scare us.
Yeah.
It feels to me like Tim Kelly is smart enough to simplify this offense. And, I mean, you can't do any worse than Downey did, let's be honest. Like, you just can't.
Yeah,
That's true. What scares me,
everything is going to be an improvement at this point. Yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
any signs of improvement is better than last year.
What scares me is that at one point, Vrabel actually seemed to back Todd Downing, and that's the reason that he kept him on for an extra year, was because he was like, no, this is okay. We got to 12-5, number 1 AFC seed. He's got to be doing something right?
I mean, I understand that. Like, I mean, it's hard to fire somebody when you did get to the number 1 seed. Like, I can understand the idea of like, hey, we don't want to mess with a good thing or whatever, but
But then that playoff game.
Well, I mean, and you look at our defensive coordinator, isn't it Shane Bowen, right?
Shane Bowen, yeah.
Okay, so you look at him. When his first year as our DC, he struggled, but Mike Vrabel again did the same thing he did with Todd Downing, but the second year he actually started excelling, and showing better traits and stuff. So, and our defense did better. So
I think what helped Shane though was the addition of Jim Schwartz coming back.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, definitely that helped. But I just think that you don't want to just call it a one and done, because what if let's say we called it one and done with Todd Downing, and then like 2 years down the road he's with another team and he's the best offensive coordinator in the NFL. Well, then we're going to be shooting ourselves in the foot, and all of us are going to be like, well, dang, Mike Vrabel let him go. So, that could have had something to kind of do with it, is that you want to make sure that you give them plenty of time to see what they have in them, and as a coordinator, I just you might not get that in a full season because, that roster that you have when you first stepped in might not be the, roster that you want going forward. They all sit down and they all, talk, especially during draft and free agency, Okay, well, I like this player, well, I like this player, and then they find a median, and so it kind of, I think that kind of has a lot to do with why we seen Todd Downing, for more than just one season.
Well, I think it comes down to, again, Vrabel's very smart. He's got a very good football mind, and when he originally was like, okay, we're gonna keep Todd, when he saw that it worked, that he brought Jim Schwartz in to help Shane with the defense, he was like, okay, maybe bringing Kelly in to help with the offense will open up. But I think it kind of, when it showed him that he couldn't do that, he gave him a year to kind of be like, okay. And then when he showed him that this isn't gonna work, he already had Tim, so he knew that Tim could do it if he needed to. And so he didn't have to go out on a long search. But he also knew Arthur was taken from under him being a very good offensive coordinator. So he kind of wanted to keep what he had close. And he did not want Tim Kelly going to be a head coach somewhere. So he had to kind of play it smart, and I think he did an excellent job. And again, it just shows again how smart he is on and off the field. He played that
Yeah,
very well.
that's true. And Gary, to your point, we may be able to get a chance to see, because I think she was saying like a couple years down the road, but we may be able to get a chance to see that this coming year. I mean, uh, who's Todd Downing with now? The Jets. Let's see how Aaron Rodgers does. If he's calling bad plays, I know he's not the actual offensive coordinator. He's just basically what Tim Kelly's position was last year.
Yeah.
But still, if there's any sort of a negative influence, I mean, not that they're going to run pass punt with Aaron Rodgers, but neither would she.
Yeah.
Should
And
we have?
I think Todd Downing, his my biggest complaint towards Todd Downing wasn't, well, he wasn't a good offensive coordinator. He just was not that good at, play calling. He was very
He was safe,
predictable.
very
And
safe.
that was my biggest issue with him. Um like you said, I mean, who knows? He could get out there and that could all change, But we also have to, it kind of goes back to like what I was saying earlier about, Malik Willis and last season. Look at what he had to work with. A whole bunch of hot nothings,
Well,
so but you could have at least called better plays. And I mean, like I have nightmares of screenplays now because like who does a screenplay on 4th and 5
or
or
a tight
fourth
end
and
end
two?
around.
Yeah, or 4th and 1 when you have Derrick Henry or Tannehill, who's proven he could be great at quarterback sneaks. Both of them could just fall forward and pick up a yard, you know, and so uh, it makes you wonder, if he'll be able to kind of correct his woes as a play caller, if he's ever given that opportunity again. And, you know, I'm just not, I just don't think he was a good fit for us here. I think it started out good, but then it just like, it started falling apart. Like the internal structure of the Titans started to fall apart, we traded away AJ Brown, which couldn't have been easy on him. You know, then the whole J Rob, you know, thing got started getting into question, and then his job was constantly getting questioned, and that puts a lot on your plate, and when you're supposed to focus on a game, then you're trying to overcorrect yourself, and at that point you're just constantly on a wheel of just constant repeat making mistakes because you're overthinking it instead of just going out there and doing what you know. So I
And
mean, I don't
doing
know.
and doing what's working, and
Yeah,
that's his problem. He would just, but I mean, I will say this last season, obviously with the O line the way that it was, I mean, that doesn't leave you much room to pass the ball. I mean, you don't, barely have a pocket, so,
yeah,
you know,
I agree
the,
one hundred
I
percent.
mean, and so, I mean, his hands were kind of tied in some ways, this last year, because I don't feel like this last year I feel like the year before he definitely had moments where especially like in the playoff game where he got away from things that were working. Like in the playoff game, running the ball was, I mean, Dante Foreman was running the ball all over them, and he got away from that and tried to start passing more and tried to, give feed the ball to Derrick, which normally you would want to do, but it was Derrick Henry's first game back, and he never is very, his first game back, whether it's after the off season or whatever, he's just not the same. And this was after an injury, so it's going to take him time to warm up. And it was like they just got away from things that worked. But I think you're right. I think he overthinks things sometimes. But last year, I think, in some ways his hands were tied with the situation with the O line.
We should have never let Henry play in that game because I forget the running
100%.
back's name we had.
Deontay
Uh,
Foreman.
Deontay
Yeah.
Foreman and
Yeah.
Hilliard.
Yeah, so
Mm,
Foreman was playing lights out
Lights out.
phenomenal. And
yeah.
I think that if we, because he had the Hot Wheels, his legs
Mm,
were on fire. Then you just, okay, well, we're gonna throw Henry in here with cold legs and expect him to, go out
mm,
there and just fire off like
yeah.
that. But no, we should have kept Foreman and then let Foreman play in that game because first of all, he earned it.
Mm,
There's
Yeah.
not many running backs in the NFL that you can put on the same team with Derrick Henry and they can, go toe to toe with how Henry
mm,
looks and plays in the game. But there were glimpses where you're just like, dang, like this dude could be like Henry's doppelganger. And in
Yeah.
my
mm.
opinion, we should have kept Foreman, and that would have been such a sick running back duo
I
between him
wanted
and
to keep
Henry.
him, but I also think he deserved a starting job, so I was happy that
Mm.
we weren't selfish with him.
And
Yeah,
I don't think that it was us not keep like I think he chose, to go somewhere else where he thought he was going to have a chance to start. He went to the Panthers where Christian McCaffrey was hurt a lot. I think he thought that, with Derek coming back, that gave us, that gave him the best maybe chance to really play more, get more carries. So I think that was kind of his choice. I don't think it was our choice to not keep him, but
Yeah, he also had
yeah,
proof of that in that playoff game
yeah,
because he was on fire, and they're like, no, we got Henry. You just sit on the bench. And the sad thing about that is, Gary just said we should have kept him and played him more instead of Henry. Let Henry sit out that game because he was on cold legs. But Titans fans in general have
mm,
2020 hindsight. If we'd have lost that game and never ran Henry, but maybe once the entire game, everybody would have just been like, well, if you guys would have just played Henry, we would have won.
mm,
And so
Yeah.
there's no, it's like a lose-lose situation.
yeah,
Yeah, I understand. Like I was definitely very adamant. I think, and I told my brother, I was like, I don't understand why they wouldn't keep Dante in. I was like, they're not stacking the box with Dante because they're not threatened with him, and he's running all over them. And as soon as we got somewhere with him, they would put Henry in, and then they would stack the box. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, come on now.
mm,
Yeah,
These guys
Foreman.
get paid lots to be defensive coordinators. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, Foreman plays the majority of that game. We win that game,
I think so.
100%.
So how about the kicker situation? What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I haven't really even been able to keep up with the kicker situation, to be honest with you. Do we still have Bullet? We still have Dad
No.
Bod or no? Is Dad Bod gone?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we released
Shudak.
Bullock, and we have the rookie
Shudak.
Trey Wolf and Caleb Shudak, who we had last year, but he got injured. And something tells me, if you remember Kickin' Fickin', as we called him, he got injured in 2021, and he just disappeared. Once they got Bullock on, he just disappeared because of the injury. Now,
Yeah.
same thing happened to Shudak, and I'm thinking, is that what they're going to do again? But of course, this isn't J. Rob's team anymore.
Yeah.
And there's also
Well-
some good free agent kickers on the market. Robbie Gould just got released. There's somebody else, I think, from the Denver Broncos. Maybe I'm.
Yeah, I feel like the Titans with the kicker position have been kind of cursed. almost as bad as with the quarterback position. Like we've had some really great kickers, and then
Suck up.
we've had suck up, and then ever since suck up, we've had some really sucky kickers.
Well, we just shouldn't have let Suckup go. I mean, that decision was made way too hastily, I think. Yeah.
And suck up has a ring now, right? Does he?
Yep. He went to
Yeah,
he went to
he
the
went
Bucks
straight to
next year and got a
Tampa.
ring. Yeah. Which I'm glad for him that he has one, but he got injured. They tried to bring him back too quickly, I think, and he wasn't the same, and so then they let him go, and then he came back the next year with the Bucks and was healthy, and
Got a ring.
yep. So I mean, I thought that was a bad decision.
It was
Even at the time, I knew it was, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
not the
agree with
GM,
you,
so.
Haley, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I came in right at the butt of that, but I definitely agree. We should have never let him get out of our house.
I mean,
Yeah.
will you agree with this with the style of I don't know how the offense is going to run this year, but the style Mike Vrabel runs, it's almost imperative and run the ball, play defense. It'll probably open up a little bit more this year, but I feel like it's imperative to have a good place kicker. Like they need
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Well,
Huge.
when you're playing low scoring games, I mean, if you're playing defense and that's your mentality, I mean, it feels like you need a good kicker.
Yeah. If I'm correct, don't hold me to this, but not today, but yesterday, I think Mike Vrabel was speaking a little bit on that during the press conference. Just being able to, have a good place kicker, and not expect, to take it from, what is it, the 25 or wherever it is now. But, he being able to pin opponents deep is very important. Um, I think that's a really big part of who Mike Vrabel is. Of course, special teams has always been something the Titans have been really good at for years. So I agree. I think
I
that
wouldn't say special teams is something we've been good at. Place kicking. We've been blessed with really great place kickers, but not the entire special teams.
I felt like we've had some pretty good pieces on our special teams over the years. Not saying consistently, but I mean, you look at Pat Man Jones when he played for us. Being able to just constantly shred through there and run it back for touchbacks like he did.
Mhm.
Then we had other people, and I can't I'm pulling blanks right now, but I mean, you know,
Because that's
Joshua Kalu. I
Joshua
feel like
Kalu, yeah.
actually our special teams has been pretty good. I mean, our kicker is really like the big. Obviously,
yeah. I
like
mean, we've had
It's the
great
big
place
flash
kickers.
of it all.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and it's hard for it to look good when you don't have a good. But
But since Pac-Man, we haven't had anybody that's able to run it back.
Our
Like-
return game in the last few years has been lacking.
Pretty
Yeah.
poor, yeah.
Like
It's
the,
been
the,
poor, and I
about
think
the place
that's a
kicker's been
glaring
great.
weakness.
Yeah. The
Think
place,
about it on
place
the other
kicker's
side of
been
it,
great.
though. Because technically, our return game has been bad, but how many kickoffs or before this whole rule change or punt returns against the Titans do you see in highlight reels where they ran it all the way back for a touchdown or got a 60-yard gain? It's our coverage team is actually part of special teams, and that's been really good.
Mhm.
But you're
Yeah,
right.
so
As far
like-
as kick returners and punt returners, we've been sucking it up for a while.
Yeah, we've had
And
a
I think
great
Mariani-
one side of it.
I think Mariani was one of the last decent returners that we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Mariano was awesome.
Yeah,
I love
his
him.
first stint with us, that second time around, I felt like it was just more so of high hopes, that he could get back to that form, and he never was able to. But yeah, that when we first got him, he was phenomenal for us.
I loved
and,
him. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
that's
like
why
we
we're-
had hopes
they were
that Cal
hoping-
Phillips.
Yep. I was gonna
You
say,
know,
I think that's
Cal
why they're hoping
Phillips,
that
you
guy
know,
would be.
Yeah, would be another Mariani, and because he has the speed, he has the elusiveness, and if we go back to that was it the very first game where he almost broke one for like 78 or 70 80 yards, but then after that he kept fumbling. He got in his head, but if he can build on that first play and then be consistent for a full year, then we're in business. I mean, literally. Uh, but then again, you gotta ask yourself, like, is he gonna be able to, do that and be consistent, or if he does have a drop, is that gonna start another downward spiral like he had last year? You know, and only time will tell on that one. But I
Do you
think
think?
special teams
Yeah,
has
go ahead.
always been a big part. No, you go ahead.
Do you think they put Kyle Phillips back there? I know that's kind of his specialty, but depending on how intricate or how important he is to this offense, do you think they put him back there at returner?
I think they'll probably try him at returner a couple preseason games to see if he's knocked off the woes. And if he has, then maybe you sit down and have that conversation and say, okay, we want to, have him as, our primary returner. But if he gets out there and he struggles, then, let's keep him at a wide receiver. But my concerns then would be, you know, is he going to drop a pass from Tannehill? Is he going to be able to pull it in if he can't pull in a punt? It, so to me that kind of goes hand in hand. So if he's going to play better on offense and be a key part of our offense, he has to be able to get out there and perform on the special teams.
Yeah, and when it comes to Phillips, though, you got to remember the first dropped punt that he had was, that was his first game as a rookie against the Giants. His first game. You're nervous on that big stage. He probably just got jitters. The second one, he was playing on a sore shoulder, and it kind of bounced off of his shoulder because he couldn't get his arm up right. So let's say that one was injury related. I think a lot of people's biggest concern with putting him back there as a punt returner would be, well, he lasted, a couple of games last year, and do we really want to put him, if we're going to have him as our slot receiver, do we really want to put him in harm's way? Because punt returners and kick returners have been notoriously just drilled, hit as hard as you. So, like when you watch biggest hits in the NFL on YouTube or whatever it is, you see a lot of punt returns where those guys just get creamed. And if he was an injury concern last year, and a lot of people are thinking that about him this year, like, oh, do we really want to start Kyle Phillips in the slot, even though he was great for that one game? Because what if he gets injured? We don't want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Haley.
No, go ahead. I was going to change this. We had a question in the comments. But go ahead if you had a last thought on that.
Yeah, so I can see where you're coming from. On that. Is the injury prone of Kyle Phillips going to be what keeps him from going back in that position? I would say this. If we go back and we looked at players who are injury prone from doing a certain thing, when they return, we still put them back in that same situation. So that would be my big concern is, I think that becomes more of your, is that a head coach thing? Is that a offensive coordinator thing or a special team coordinator thing? But I really think that if he can find a way to stay healthy, do we know what his weight is this year? Has he put on any weight from
He put on
last
7
year?
pounds as of just before OTAs. He may have put on more since then. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
He looks bigger to me.
I'd
Yeah.
say put on weight.
7 pounds of
way-
muscle does make
That
you look
way,
big.
it would soften those blows. I mean, it's not going to soften it, but you know what I mean. It'll make it to where you can take it a little better without you being so injury prone. And then maybe just try it out, or have him only do it in certain situations. Like, okay, we're down by 2 and we really need the field position. Let's put him out there because we know that he can split the defense, doing that. So it's really just depends on the special teams coordinator and how they feel.
Haley, you were mentioning Grob's question.
Oh yeah. So All right, so the question is from a Texans fan, who do we want under center?
Ooh.
So
I'm
I
gonna
hope you Ben Jones,
I'll,
but that's not going to happen.
yeah, I was just to
Does,
say I'll start out by saying I'm gonna miss Ben Jones, and I really want him there. But
does
or do we
by
well,
by
I think
under
they're
center
saying
does he mean
I think he
quarterback?
means quarterback, yeah.
That's what I was
No,
oh,
under
thinking.
center.
Not
I
at
thought he
Oh,
said
center, under center.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
yeah.
under center. Yeah,
We had
Tannehill.
this conversation a little earlier.
Tannehill.
I think
Yeah.
we've all
Tannehill.
said Tannehill is our best
Gotcha.
option. We've
Tannehill
got to
is our
get
best.
over it. We've got to move
Everybody,
forward.
Adam, did you
Oh,
say Tannehill?
Tannehill, 100%.
Gary,
Oh, yeah.
Bryce?
Tannehill, 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we kind of talked about this a little bit last week. Last year we had a top 5 defensive line. And I'm really excited. I think we could have a top 3 defense in the NFL this year. What is y'all's opinion on our defensive situation?
So let me interrupt there. I don't know where report I said. I don't know if it was Pro Football or something that had the Titans' defensive line ranked like 23rd in the NFL. That is absurd.
Oh, I
That is
saw that
That's
too.
that's highly absurd.
I don't know. I can't remember what outlet it was, but I saw that.
Same.
I was, you
Let
guys
Somebody-
him.
are
Let
awesome.
him. We'll fly in under radar and we'll shut him up.
Yeah, that's good of me.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think our
really
defensive line is gonna. That's what I'm most excited about for this team this year. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it had
yeah.
a chance to be not just top 10, top 5, man, maybe the best. Honestly,
yeah. Landry.
But what do you
yeah,
think?
Jeff.
What do you think about the depth, though? Because, I mean, while you got, Tart, Autry, Simmons, you got Harold Landry coming back, you got Arden Key on the other side, and then you got Rashad Weaver backing him up. Where's the depth piece on pass rusher? Like, I know you got, what's his name? This one always, Caleb Murphy, who had like I've heard nothing about him in camp, but I know he had 40 sacks in 2 years and is on a low level college team. But that shows something. I'd like to see or hear something about if they've even like pushed him up. He's still, I think, 4th on the depth chart or 5th.
So I'd say this: I'm not so sure about who all we got in our depth positions, but I'm not really that concerned about it because last year and the year before, when we were super injury prone,
yeah.
it was our defense that kept us in just about every single game, week in and week out. Our defense was showing up and showing out, and it
And
would be
listen.
people that we never even heard before. So I'm
Exactly.
not concerned about that. I really want to see Landry, Simmons, Tart, all of them on the field at the same time. Because I think that's going to be huge. I'm really excited for our new additions and I'll share if I'm saying his last name right.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever his name.
Aziz Al-Shire.
Yeah, Al Sayer, and as well as that safety we got.
Arden Key, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, man.
Not Arden.
Oh, AJ Moore.
Yeah.
The
Was it
Safety depth
AJ
piece?
Moore?
Yeah, AJ Moore. We signed him today or yesterday. I'm sorry, and they released Curtis Brooks, I think it is, off of the
Yeah.
defensive line to make room for him. But he's
So-
been a safety in the league for quite a while.
So
He was just injured last year.
I think on as far as our secondary goes, I think we're going to see a step forward from our secondary. I know last year was just terrible because everybody was just throwing it over our heads left and right. But I think that with Molden, KB, I'm not even going to say Farley although I really want to say Farley, but Farley is way too injury prone at this point. But you look at some of those pieces we had, and if they can play solid and healthy as a unit, we're set. But we just have to stay healthy. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah.
With our
And-
secondary.
And like I said, I think it goes back to, Vrabel and them being the professionals. And I think it says a lot for the fact that they didn't draft any defensive players. To me, that was saying leave the defense alone. We've got that. We want to invest in the offense. And
Yeah.
that says a lot. It speaks volumes about the defense. So I definitely think that, we're all in kind of agreement that our defense is where it needs to be. If it's 23rd on the list, let it be, and we'll fly in under the radar and shut
I
'em up.
mean, like I said, you're looking at a team that at one point last season was 7-3. You don't get 7-3 without being good somewhere, you know. And we had the worst offensive line known to man. I mean, literally, it looked like they went to a high school, say, "Hey, can we borrow y'all's offensive line for a Sunday game? Because we need somebody just to stand out there," you know. And we were
Yeah, I
still
can't think-
7-3. So,
Their offensive line was the cast of Glee.
oh my god.
Yes. There's a bunch of actors that was like, "Oh, I wanna star in this film."
Oh.
That was a horror show.
It was like
For
the
sure.
Replacements, except they weren't good.
I know. I was about to say, if you said that the Replacements were bad, I'm gonna go watch that movie right now and correct you.
I love the Replacements.
Oh wow! Somebody said every time you say Farley, a Titan tears an ACL.
Oh my gosh. I have tried to get him off this Farley kick since Farley started. It's not, he's stubborn, guys. He's always going to be a Farley
I will always support Farley, and that's just because of his character and his personality and who he is as a human being. I really put my support behind him. But like I said, I'm kind of off of that. I'm not expecting greatness from him. At this point, he's gonna have to get out there and prove me wrong. But I at one point, at one time, I had high expectations for Farley, being such an elusive and speedy, back, a safety. I mean, he had a lot of potential at one time, but it just never panned out. He could never bounce back from those back injuries and stuff. So
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see.
He's a great guy. It's not like he chooses to be injured, but
Yeah,
it weighs on the fans' minds that we got this roster spot and all this money going to somebody, and
Yep.
it's just like, please get on the field, please be successful.
Yep.
It's
I mean,
like
the way I
my
look
son, he plays junior pro, and he's like got smaller stature, kind of like Farley, and they put him in a position last year for safety, and we were playing a rather big team, and I was like, guys, I'm glad that you believe in him, but him being a good kid is not gonna get him to win this game. So I think you guys just need to switch him out because it's not gonna work for him.
Well, and I think Farley, like a lot of it, it was injuries, but I think the injuries just he just lost his confidence. I mean, he just like it's like he went out there, and I think it took a lot out of. I mean, he basically didn't play for like 3 years. I mean, it was like he would play a couple games, get hurt. I mean, for like 3 years, and so I think all of that combines to just like he just wasn't the same, and he lost all his confidence, and I think a lot of it was a mental thing that he just never could get back, which, sucks, so.
I think at this point with Farley, your expectations have to be low. So any if he can get on the field and produce anything, you just have to be happy with that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think
I
that's
definitely
where
think there's a reason we haven't cut him yet. I think that Vrabel sees something in him because I mean, any other player that's been injured that much would have been gone. So there has to be something we just haven't been able to see it.
Well, right now, if they were to cut him this year, instead of putting him on the physically unable to perform list, he would have cost us more than he would have saved us, because he got like the size of his cap hit would actually cost us more on the salary cap, and then we might not have been able to fit like D-Hop, for example, without releasing somebody else or restructuring another person or extending Henry. So it's smart to keep him because you never know, and also don't cut your losses too soon. if it's not, especially if it's going to cost you in the long run.
So, we got another comment. What place did the Titans finish in the division? What's your guess? Prediction?
Oh, what? There we go. Just the camera.
Number 1. First place.
I know the Jags got all this hype on them, and I know that the Colts and Texans are both trying to do a bit of a bounce back, especially with the type of draft that the Texans had. But I mean, first off, Colts and Texans both picked at the very top of the draft for a reason from last year, and the Jags, they were one bad call away from losing the division to us last year, but all of a sudden the fans are coming out of the woodwork, literally. Because I live in Jacksonville, I know.
Are they the Jags or the Chester Cheetos? I can't remember.
Yeah, they're the Chester Cheetos. That's for sure. The Fighting Trevor Lawrence's, yeah.
I love that video. I need to every morning that I wake up, I need to replay that video with all of those. It's the Cowboys.
The Cowboys. They were so sure that the Colts were the Cowboys. I was thinking, if you're having a bad day, just replay the video, and you'll be laughing. The Chester Cheetos. Is that even a team? Every time I see somebody in the Jaguars uniform, I'm like, that's not a real team.
Does not exist.
Just the football logo for the Browns.
It does not exist.
Hey, it's good to support your team. I don't know if that's Grob or G-Rob. I can't hear Haley. Actually, I can't hear anybody.
I agree.
Sorry, my daughter came in.
Oh,
I agree that the biggest question is the online. We just have to see what they've improved on. I think that was a comment down there by someone.
yeah.
I want to talk to you guys for just a minute, but
you don't have to get that. It'll be 30 minutes for that.
but I'm gonna have to get off in about 30 minutes, guys. But not right now. We can still go for a little bit if you want to.
Okay.
So, what was your thoughts on signing D-Hop to a contract?
I was excited.
I think it was a smart contract. The way that they structured it.
Haley, I want you to answer that for me, please.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think it was necessary. I think it was definitely a huge missing piece that we needed. Our wide receiver room desperately needed a veteran presence on and off the field. I think he's going to elevate Burke's play. I think the contract was, we didn't overpay. I think it was a fair contract. And I think this really, I mean, if it all works out, I think this could be the difference between, a repeat of last year and making a run, so.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that D-Hop is gonna. I don't know how well D-Hop is gonna pan out yet, but it sucks with the Robert Woods thing and the Julio Jones thing, because Julio Jones was always injured. He would never stay healthy on the field. And in fact, Robert Woods had that ACL injury in 2021. I think he rushed back too soon.
Yeah, and one of the things that I will say in regards to that, I mean, during Vrabel's tenure, those have been the two main veterans that we've brought in at wide receiver. Anyways, let's not count, Clowney and Aaron, what's his face, but I think that one of the best adages that you can use for that is they say if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. So I think that they're not avoiding it, that he's learned from it. And so he went through the ringer at trying to make sure that this was the right decision because he's already been burned. Burn me once, my fault, or burn me once, your fault, burn me twice, my fault. I think he's very confident that this is not going.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think this was the plan all along. I think he was very smart. I think that they were waiting it out, through all the criticism and everything about the wide receiver room because they kind of knew in their heads this is what they wanted and this is, what the ultimate plan was. So I just give them, all of the praise, like, hey, they did an excellent job with this deal. And so I'm excited to see him on the field. I think that it was a missing piece. I think that it definitely is going to make the difference between a winning and a losing season, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I had my suspicions about this right after. I had my suspicions right after the Josh Wiley pick when, let me not hit that, when you see Rand and Mike Vrabel. It's just like they know something we don't know.
They knew. It was something that was cooking. D-Hop was just too expensive during the draft, but they knew that it was going to eventually pan out in their favor if they just kind of waited and was patient. They're way more patient than me. I want everything right now, but they knew. They were really smart.
I knew it was going to be something when they didn't draft a receiver till the 7th round, so they had to have something up their sleeve.
Yep.
Sure. And like D-Hop revealed, this is where he wanted to be the whole time. The whole, waiting till signing and all that, it was all just a dramatic play. Like, he knew this is where he wanted to be, and they made it happen.
And probably when they lost all of the interest when they were trying to trade him, and the Titans weren't even contacting him and being like, yeah, we'll trade for D-Hop. We didn't have much to trade. Just wait it out. He gets cut, and now we don't have to trade anything. All we're trading is a Southwest Airlines trip over to Nashville and a Tim McGraw concert. That's good capital.
They made that such a big deal on the local radio about him just flying on Southwest, not flying on a private jet. And who cares? I don't think it's that big a deal, but maybe that's just me.
No, like I always fly Southwest, and I'll tell you why. If a terrorist were ever to come on the plane, they would never hijack a Southwest plane because all the poor people and the gun toters are already on there, and they know, like these are the people you don't want to mess with. You want them to sit in their seat? Not going to happen.
Yeah, okay,
So,
guys.
yeah,
I'm sorry about that. I lost the internet connection for a whole second. I
Hey,
had to
Gary.
reset my computer.
Gary, I don't know what happened, but StreamYard kicked you out.
Yeah, I lost my internet connection for a whole second. Had to reset my PC. I've been fighting with this stupid computer all day. First, it didn't let my mic work earlier when I first hopped on. Then I restarted it, and then it decided my internet was going to go out, and I was like, I went to my TV, turned my TV on. I was like, no, they're still live. It's definitely me.
I just keep hitting the wrong button and so I'm on my phone because my laptop microphone doesn't work. I keep hitting the wrong button and closing it out, and I have to come back in. So I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Not a problem.
My
So
phone too. Nobody wants to call me until I'm doing a podcast.
right, well, I told y'all my kids have been in here 50 times since I've been on here.
All right, I've done had to
Mine
go
too.
go back and take care of my twins 2 or 3 times tonight
No.
already.
So Gary, what do you think about the contract of D Hop?
I think first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out and a big hug and a big thank you to Kevin Byard for taking a pay cut so we could get him. Secondly, I think it's a decent as long as D Hop plays like he did last year. You know, perfectly okay with that contract. You know, it's not that big. Most of what I think it's first year he's making and then rest of it's incentives. Um, so I think that I think it's good. I think it was a safe play, but it was I wouldn't say so much of a safe play. I'd say it was more so of we had to get somebody in here. There was
Gary, I'm sorry. I think we lost your sister. I think we lost Gary
All right.
too.
I got a question. Adam, what was the deal with you and the 1045 today?
Long story. It all stemmed around a buddy of mine on Twitter saying he met up with D Hop and D Hop telling him that Nashville was a vibe, and then he put that
Was
out
that
on social
Bam?
media.
Was
Bam,
that
yeah,
Bam? Yeah.
yeah, Bam. And so they were on the morning show on 104.5 this morning. They were just dogging him out because apparently D Hop didn't say that, and they were dogging him out, and I was defending him, and so we were going back and forth today. That's
Yeah.
what all that was about.
I was like confused. I saw Bam's like tweets, and then I saw yours, and then I saw Ron Slay responded, and I was like, what is happening?
It was. I was just back helping my boy out. That's all there was to it. So it's something out of nothing, honestly, blown out of proportion. So.
Yeah. Why was Ron Slay involved? Because weren't you talking about the morning show?
Yeah, he was in the chat on the morning show this morning. Just they were talking about it, but Slay gets into the chat because I'm in the chat a lot on morning show in the afternoon, and they were just going at it, just laughing at Bam, and I was like, so I was defending him, and it kind of got blown up on Twitter too apparently. So
yeah,
whatever. That's all it was.
All because I was like,
they were questioning. They were questioning whether he said it was a vibe or not, and I mean, really doesn't matter.
Right.
So I was like, okay, but I was just defending Bam. That's all it was.
Titan Fox.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was out for a second. Nature called. What's up, Bryce?
April back in. April's not in here yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
I thought she would be back in here, but she's not. Gary, we lost his sister.
Yeah, I seen that when I came back in. She was missing. Yeah, I don't know. It threw me out that again. I was talking
Titan
about
Fox. So, what was your thoughts on the training camp today?
I was excited because, first off, we got a glimpse of D-Hop, just seeing everybody rolling out there. One of the things that surprised me, especially about D-Hop, was he said he was going to take a couple of days off of training camp. I thought it was going to be like the first few days because Vrabel said, yeah, it's okay. You can take some days off. You got to take care of the family, get everybody acclimated to the new environment, that sort of thing. But no, what I saw from a lot of the other guys was rather impressive too. And I think I can't wait to see the pads come on. like full gear.
Yes. Yes.
I'm so
yes.
excited for that. Some 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, anything.
I agree.
Just-
I agree. I'm like pumped up for that day. So I want to like we were talking. I was kind of briefly talking about D Hop's contract. Um,
Oh.
and I don't remember where I left off, but basically, I like it's on my mind now that we talked about it. So
Hey, hey guys,
What's
y'all
up,
can
Bryce?
talk for a minute, but I gotta do something real quick.
Okay.
Okay, buddy.
You guys just talk for a minute. I gotta do something.
Ryan Witten said, Titan Fox, are you Magneto? How is that helmet floating?
It's pretty cool. I have one too. I'm not downstairs at my desk, but I have the same one.
No, I know you told me about that last time.
Yeah.
And there's another guy that I just started, or another couple of guys. It's like Justin and Justin. Started following their podcasts, and damned if I can remember the name right now. But anyways, he's got one in the background spinning around, and I'm just like, well, dang, this is pretty popular.
Yeah.
I think it's cool as hell, though.
It is.
But all right, so let me ask you guys this question. And actually, this question is not for Haley because she's literally wearing the jersey right now. Am I the only person that is a Titans fan and does not want us to lose these jerseys and go to the throwbacks instead? For some reason, the red just I can't. And
Oh my god.
in all
That's my
fairness,
favorite part of them. The red is my favorite.
In all fairness, though, the colors have been my favorite part, and were probably one of the reasons that I first fell in love with the Titans. Because I've never lived in Tennessee. Matter of fact, I was in California when I chose them as my favorite team back in 1999, and they had just gone from being the Oilers to being the Titans. So like that was the year that I chose them, and I've been following them ever since. So good 22, 23 years. Without even during the bad times, but it was always the color scheme that really got me, and I just can't see myself in the red, white, and blue. I don't know. It's just me. I think I'm literally the only person.
But I guess like because when I first became a fan, back when they moved to Tennessee, we used to have a lot more of red in the, we used to use red a lot more. So I guess like for me, it's not just even about the oil. Like I've always loved the red, and we kind of got away from it, after a few years. But they used to use a lot more red in everything they did. But
Yeah.
I can
Has
see your
anybody ever
argument.
noticed?
Right,
Anybody
what
ever noticed?
I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
I can see your argument, but I've always liked the Oilers throwbacks ever since. I mean, when they became the Tennessee Oilers, I've liked those throwbacks ever since.
The new ones do look a lot cleaner, especially if you look
Yeah.
really closely at like the sleeves. The design is really nice.
Yeah, they're
So
nice.
I'll give them that. I'm not hating on it. Trust me.
I see your argument though. I've always loved the color that you got on right now. I definitely love those, but I'm not.
Yeah,
opposed to
this is my
the
favorite
throwbacks
color in the
either.
world.
Yeah.
I
Good.
made an observation one time, and people were like, "Oh, that's weird," but if you notice the exact shape of the Oilers logo, and then where the old school Patriots logo was a dude crouching down, and he made a perfect triangle. You know what I mean? He's like about to hike the ball. They looked almost the same, and they were both red and white and blue. I'm like, come on, guys. Let's have some originality here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say more originality, right?
For real. A matter of fact,
No,
I'm
I never
wondering.
noticed that.
Yeah, go back and look at the old school logo
I'll have to
and the
look at
old
it, yeah.
school Oilers one. Yeah,
I definitely will.
it's uncanny.
Wow.
But speaking of originality, I'm still wondering because they're still talking about the Washington Commanders now that they're under new ownership and Dan Snyder's gone, of having this year still be the Commanders, but possibly next year changing up the name again. You know, went from Redskins to football team to Commanders, and there's a lot of people that just did not get on board with that. I think I've heard like 100 different suggestions. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing, I mean, changing it again is just insane to me after everything. Like,
Hey, internet's back.
Yeah.
Gary.
So I've been in the background just like, oh, I wish I could talk right now.
I'm guessing it's about the jersey comment.
Well, I agree with Haley. I love the red in them. I know I get your point, but I feel like that has always, even from our Houston days, to when we first came to Tennessee as a Tennessee Oilers, and even the early 2000s, we did have a lot of red, intertwined with our uniforms somehow, some way. So I really think the throwbacks are fire. Like I love them, and I was super stoked. And then your comment on the Commanders. I actually watched an interview earlier today with the new owner and Magic Johnson. Is it Magic Johnson? Yeah,
Magic
Johnson.
Johnson's.
Hard owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, he said, their main focus isn't to come in there and change up the name right away or fix up cosmetics and stuff like that. Their main thing is to kind of get in there, see what they have, see what they need to address to get them back to being a contender, and then he said it's a possibility after that, but it's not the first thing on his list. I do think the Commanders is like the dumbest name ever.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I mean, then again, we do have a team that's been here for ages called the Browns. So, and they changed their mascot to, at one point it was Buddy the Elf.
excuse me. Um, what was your thoughts about what was your thoughts about the Indianapolis Colts throwbacks?
I haven't seen them yet.
they were
no,
just plain.
I was gonna say they're just basic to what they look like to me. They look like a college team.
they
Almost.
look like high school uniforms.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
They do. I can't say that I don't like the black helmet though. I think they could have done better on the uniform itself, but the black helmet with the Colts logo, even though it's so different from what they've always rocked, it to me that part looked a little bit cool. I'll give them credit for that.
I just don't like the uniform though. The uniform is just
Duke University. At my high school was the Blue Devils, so they had pretty much the same thing except
That's okay. My
white
high
helmet.
school was the Cougars. And we literally we had a contract with LSU, so we had like identical uniforms to them, so it was stupid.
Brian kills me, I swear.
So Adam, what was your thoughts on the Seattle Seahawks uniforms?
I think they look pretty good.
I really like those.
Yeah, there's a lot of color to them. They look really good. I think.
They're fire. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I liked them. Very nice.
Who else came out with the throwbacks this
Jets.
year? I'm not sure who else did.
The Eagles. I don't know. Did the Jets? I
Jets,
know it
yeah.
was the
They
Eagles and the Bucks were the
I
other
know,
two.
I know
They-
it was the Jets, but I don't know if it was the Miami Dolphins that came out with some, but I'm not sure about that. But did the Miami Dolphins come out with throwbacks, Haley?
I don't know. I think they did, or they are. I don't know.
If they are going to, it would be awesome because back in the day, their uniforms looked more like Hurricanes with that
Yeah.
bright orange. I thought
Yeah.
that was fire.
Y'all seen the throwback logo for the Jets, right?
But
I
but
haven't. I'm the only one.
I really like all these throwback uniforms, but since the newer review of the throwback uniform, it's not actually really the throwback uniform. You know what I'm saying?
Because we use a whole different type of
Um,
uniform. Like now we have the NFL has a contract with Nike, so
yeah,
it's gonna be a bit different, but it's gonna be in the
Gary, excuse me, but what I was saying is the actual throwback uniform used to be a lighter blue than the newer throwback uniform.
Yeah, that's true. It's not really as much of a throwback as a tribute. I know they call it throwback, but they redesign it to make it a little bit more modern, a little bit more well, let's say sellable, like so they can make their money and everything. But it's a tribute to the history of the team more than it is an exact replica.
Um, Haley, did you get what I was saying about the throwback uniform?
Yes, yes.
It's not actually the throwback uniform. It's just a remake of the throwback uniform,
Exactly.
and they remodeled it. Correct?
remodeled. What? I'm sorry, I missed that conversation. My wife had just got
And
home.
Titans Fox, you know what I want to see? I want to see the throwback Titans uniforms with the icy white.
Oh yeah, like back in the early 2000s, those were solid, man. Don't get me wrong, I still like the dark helmets now, but they kind of just match the current uniform. But the old school ones, the solid white, the white helmet, just the logo on the side. I think you're right, Bryce. Those were really nice.
I want to
Um,
see the Oilers white throwbacks because I always thought like the white top with the blue pants was sick.
I agree with you on that one. That's what I want to see.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I
Very
mean
fair.
Miss Amy did try to push for it. She just wasn't able to get it done in time. So
so,
there's a possibility next year we have 4 games with
um,
throwbacks.
Hey,
so,
hey, hang on, Bryce. I have a 5-year-old who's begging me to put her to bed, so I gotta go.
All right. Well, bye,
Yeah.
Haley.
Say bye. Can you say bye, Taylor?
Bye,
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 Bryce.
Taylor.
Oh,
bye,
all
Haley.
right. Bye. Love you, Bryce.
Love you, bye,
Bye. Bye, everybody.
bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Hey, Gary.
What's up,
Um,
buddy?
what what I was actually saying about the throwback uniform, it's actually not the throwback uniform. It's just a remake.
Yeah, it's definitely a remake. And what I was saying is, we use a whole different type of jersey now. Like, if I'm correct, like back in the day, it was a different brand. Like, we use Nike now, and I forget what it was before that. Uh, so it's like a whole completely different like style and look to it. Um, But I really like the way they look. I mean, they look really sick.
Me too, but don't get me wrong. I like the actual. I like the actual throwback one better.
Well, which I'll put it like this: which, because you know the Oilers, they go back to like the
The
mid '60s. So
the
when we first started, we had like a kind of like pale blue helmet almost with the blue top and white pants, and then we went to kind of like a almost like bluish gray helmet. So there's like different variants that we had throughout our stint as
Gary,
Oilers.
excuse me, bud. What we I want to see. I would like to see them bring the actual throwback uniforms back one day. Um, Titans Fox. So I'm gonna ask you this. So, what's your thoughts about the throwback uniforms from back in the day? Can you kind of compare the throwbacks now that they have from back in the day?
Um, I would say that I like them a little bit better than the original ones. And like Gary was saying, that they had multiple different types, like different helmets and stuff. Um, I think they did a decent job on the helmets. That's for sure. I'm glad that they went with the white.
Bro, that white with the blue and the red. I mean, man, it's fire.
I love the new, I
America.
love the new throwback.
America.
I love the new throwback uniform, but I just like the old school one better.
Well, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still buy those jerseys. You can get like an old Warren Moon jersey. You can get the real, literal throwbacks that aren't just the new ones revamped. But then
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to get Derrick Henry or Kevin Byard or Big Simmons, Big
Yeah.
Jeff.
Or I can customize a knee hop one.
I will
It's
say,
true.
I will say that apparently Nike has changed the way they're doing the throwbacks instead of like the stitching
Or
and all that. They're
maybe,
doing they're
or maybe I can custom Kevin Byard one.
Yeah,
nice.
you are definitely right, Adam.
They're
Nike
doing the
did.
heat press. They're doing the heat
Yeah,
press letters on the
you,
jerseys now instead of the stitching.
yeah. It's not gonna be a game day jersey like you would get.
Um, so
Typically.
what what do you think the first game of the season's gonna look like for the Titans, Gary? I think that the offensive coordinator position is gonna be a lot better this year, but I just I don't know what's gonna happen, but we can we can look at we can look into week 6 maybe, and we could we could see Malik out there with the package play.
Well, hopefully, that's one of the only reasons we
What
see Malik
Titans
out there.
Fox? I can't hear you, bud.
I didn't say anything.
Hopefully, that is the only time we do see Malik on the field is during a package play. I'd say me personally, like if something happens to Tannehill and we have to see him, then let's hope that this glaring improvement that Mike Vrabel's been talking about shows. But you're talking about the very first game of the season, so let me tap on that for a second. A couple things I'm going to be looking forward into our very first game is, how much different does our pass game look? How much different is the play calling? Is our offensive line actually able to protect Tannehill, keep him upright, and are they able to open up holes for Derrick Henry to run? And then on our special teams, it's going to be, you know, are we able to pin the football on a certain spot down the field? Are we able to get, you know, a good amount of yards during run backs? You know, defense, you know, can we stop a team from throwing it over our heads? So those are going to be my main keys to kind of focus that I'm going to be focusing on, you know, definitely week 1, week 2, and week 3, you know, as they kind of start to build as a unit and as a team. And then, you know, by week 3, you kind of have a gist of what you're going to have for the whole season.
Gary, I think we could possibly see the special teams. I mean, our special teams hasn't really been that bad. It's just the kicker situation. I mean, the kicker situation. Randy Bullock had a big issue where he could not kick 50-yard field goals.
Yeah, you know, we have to get that. Well, hopefully,
I mean,
you know, we don't put him in a position to where he has to kick 50-yard field goals. Hopefully, our offense, you know, with the signing of D-Hop, prevents
hold on,
that.
Gary. Hold on 1 second. I want to say this. I think that Randy Bullock did do well, but just not as well on the 50-yard field goals.
Yeah, you know,
He wasn't terrible. Don't get me wrong. He was good at the 40-yard field goals, but not at the 50. He dismissed a lot of those, and from the standpoint of it, he's whether or not if you're a kicker, you gotta make those 50-yard field goals.
yeah. So, you know, I agree. You have to be able to make those field goals, but
You have to.
my vision of the offense is let's not put our kicker in that situation. We have good enough wide receivers now and a good enough quarterback to where we shouldn't be stopped or held out, you know, from the 50-yard line. We should be able to get
Gary,
in, you know, get in the
I
red
think
zone
that I
and
think
shorten that kick.
sorry, Gary, I'm not trying to interrupt you, bud, but I think that the Titans struggle around with 50-yard field goals because that's one of the biggest issues on the field, and for the fact that Randy Bullock couldn't kick those field goals, and there was a field goal that was really crucial that he really missed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think you know, we
And
definitely
I think that he missed one where it was against what week was that last year? I think it was where we played did we kick a field goal against the Texans?
I'm sure we did. I'm sure we kicked a lot of field goals last year against everybody. Um, but you know, I think that goes once again into, you know, we had a struggling offense. We could barely make it to the 50, so we kept putting him in that situation to where, you know, he had to do something he wasn't good at. Um, but if our offense has improved, then we shouldn't have to worry about making 50-yard field goals. So let's you know, keep our fingers crossed that we don't have to see a single 50-yard field goal at all this year.
Hey,
That would be nice.
That'd be extremely
hey
nice.
Gary, I just moved myself on the bottom of my screen because I can see better that way.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was like, I was like, I'm bouncing all over the place over here.
Yeah, Brian's right. It was the Giants game where the missed field goal literally lost the game for us. First one of the year.
Yeah. So, I think as far as that goes, we definitely got to address it, but let's hope that we don't put him in that situation.
Hey Gary, I think that's a situation where we have to I think he missed a field goal against the Giants as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like,
Wasn't that a doink kick, if I'm correct?
Yeah, it was.
I was so mad when he missed that field goal. I was pissed.
Well, let me ask you this, Bryce. Do you think with DeAndre Hopkins, Traylon Burks, Derrick Henry, Kyle Phillips, Chig, and Ryan Tannehill, do you think that our offense will be able to drive the ball down the field far enough that we don't have to worry about a 50-yard, maybe a 40-yard or a 30-yard?
I saw that look at him.
Got this.
I think CJ just messaged me and said he would like to come on sometime. Okay, let's do it, CJ. I'm down to bring you on.
Well, I will say I saw from camp today that they made the two kickers made 3 30-yard and 3 40-yard field goals, so that's a good sign so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, no misses is always good.
Yeah.
Right.
But I did want to touch on this, Bryce. Earlier, you asked about the first game of the season against the Saints. Because we've got a new offensive coordinator coming in who's not just going to – or he's claiming, and so are all the players saying, that he's not going to run that same type of offense. He's going to do a faster, more up-tempo offense with easier play calls, like shortening everything to throw people off balance, which means to me that the first game of the year is the first time.
Titans Fox, I'm gonna say this. So there was a couple plays that were really crucial last year that Todd Downing screwed over.
A couple? I thought it was like 100.
It was a lot.
I thought it was a whole season worth.
Yeah, it was the whole season, really.
Was the whole season, but there was just a couple that made me pissed.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that teams do right before the game is they study the film. So in week 1, there's no film to study if it's a new offense.
Excuse me, Titan Fox. I was gonna. What Todd Downing? Why would he not run it or quarterback sneak it on 31?
Well, my thoughts on this is that Todd Downing, as a kid, fell off a wagon and bumped his head, and he was a little cuckoo for Cuckoo Puffs.
I think a little is an understatement, but yeah.
Just trying to be a little friendly with the remark. Just a little.
That's too funny.
Hey, Titans Fox, and I was about ready to jump in the TV and slap Todd Downing's face off.
All right, show of hands. How many people wanted to slap Todd Downing last year?
Thousands of hands just went up.
That was one little wave for each game.
Right? Just start doing the wave in the stadium again. Y'all remember?
Oh, yeah, right.
Like in the early 90s, the wave was like the thing to do.
I actually saw Todd Downing walk right past me at the game. He's looking. I didn't say anything to him.
Oh, you didn't trip him?
You should have threw something at his face.
I would have.
Was he stumbling?
Might have knocked some sense into him.
Right?
Oh, let me throw it on first down.
Yeah. And then Vrabel would be like, throw to who?
Okay,
That's
so this is something I thought about last year because I was like, God, we ain't got nobody to throw to. Why not let
Gary,
Malik throw a pass to Tannehill? Do y'all think we might see something like that? 'Cause
Originally a
Tannehill-
wide receiver. I
yeah,
thought that would have worked.
yeah.
Only problem is Tannehill wouldn't have had time to get open, and
Malik
you
wouldn't
know
have
Malik
time
would have
to
been running
to
for his
read
life.
it.
Dennis Daly would be like blocking air, and that defender would come around and he'd be like, well, I was going to throw it, but Tannehill hasn't gotten but 3 yards down the field, so let me just run.
Don't forget about the trash can, Dennis Daly.
He was
Dennis
awesome.
Daly would have been in the film room the next week. Said, "I blocked Casper for you guys."
I swear, Dennis Daly and Isaiah Wilson, I think, have gotten the worst reputation out of any Titan ever.
How do you get
Flat out.
suspended when you're not even in the league?
Dennis Daly.
3 games.
3 games. You're not
What am
even
I
on the team.
suspended from, guys? I'm suspended from nothing?
Oh, man.
Suspended from your rap career.
There you go. I think he did that to himself already.
Yeah, he did that.
Oh, my God.
Daly was an absolute trash can.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you're not lying there.
You're insulting
not
trash
lying
cans.
there.
I still can't wait to see what's going to happen with a new offensive coordinator running new plays. It's just going to surprise people.
Yeah.
I think that if Taylor Warren wouldn't have got hurt, he would have been a lot better than Dennis Daly at this point.
Yeah,
We all wish he didn't get hurt.
and I think
Everybody.
Taylor's, his whole situation, because he has a lawsuit against the doctor who did his ACL surgery from the first time.
The first
he
time,
toured.
yeah.
And that kind of makes me wonder, like, what if, what if the surgery was done right? Would we still have? I mean, I feel like we'd still have Taylor Lewan on our offense right now.
I can't remember how much money Taylor made this past year. Was it 14 million?
I think it was 13 something.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
14 or something like that.
It's right around there.
Yeah. But Taylor, like, in my opinion, Taylor got screwed. I mean, you have an ACL surgery where you assume the doctor knows what he's doing, but then you go down the very first game of the next season and you find out that it's the same injury, and something wasn't done correctly.
I appreciate Adam and Titan's thoughts coming on. It's been a great time. We've been laughing the whole time.
Been great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been
Thank you,
awesome.
Bryce, for having us on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. Let's continue to talk for just a few more minutes, and then I gotta go and get ready for bed.
All right. Sounds good.
So what do you think about this? Would you rather? I was last year. Okay, so Dennis Daly was on that left side. So who else would you put if Taylor Lewan got hurt? Mine would be Big Jeff.
Big Jeff, that's a stretch right there. That's not really his specialty. Although he did play the one blocking when he was acting as a tight end and got the touchdown. Yeah, but they were like, "Oh, he didn't report eligible." I'm like, "Vrabel, come on, you know better than that."
Well, he would have
But-
done better than Daly. I know that.
In all honesty, who I would have put in there was
I would
probably
love to
Demarcus
see
Jones. Just let him try it.
Fox. I would
Yeah.
love to see. I would love to see what Jeffrey Simmons could do at offensive lineman. I bet he could do a lot better than Dennis Daly at this point.
I could do better than Dennis
Yeah,
Daly, and I weigh 115 pounds.
Yeah, any of us could do better than Dennis Daly. Absolutely.
For
I agree
sure.
with you. DeMarco Jones, I think, yeah, that's what I would have done too.
I mean, when he was in Seattle, he plugged all across the line. So he's actually played left tackle
Oh
before.
my God!
They're giving him a shot.
There was a play where Dennis Daly just got slapped out of nowhere.
I thought that
Yeah.
was a good play.
I know, right? I was gonna say there wasn't even a defender in the area. He just went.
He just fell down.
What was he blocking? Was he blocking air?
Yeah,
Maybe he
that's
just
why he
saved
allowed
it.
the most sacks in the league is because he blocked air instead of actual defenders. Either that or got pushed right back. Dude, how many times did he get knocked right on his butt? Welcome back, Gary.
Yeah, I'm back. America.
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 America loves the Oilers. Throwbacks.
Can't keep me down. Oh gosh.
Gary, I think Dennis Daly was trying to block air at this point when he was out there on the field.
Dude, I think every time Dennis Daly lined up on the offensive line and the ball was hiked, he was like, "Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy."
My shoes
Sometimes
on
I think he was trying to catch a grasshopper.
He was trying
Ooh,
to
a
tie his
distraction.
shoe every play.
Oh, thank you, CJ. 12,900,000.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
CJ on the stats
What?
tonight.
That was funny when we were talking about Dennis Daly.
I just don't see how anybody in their right mind after seeing him on the Titans last year. What
Rest
would the
in
Cardinals
peace
think
for the
of him?
Cardinals.
I know, seriously, poor. Well, not that Kyler Murray's healthy enough to play at
Yeah.
all this season, if he even does. But whoever is his backup, sorry for you, bro. Don't go watch any Titans game film, please.
I want to say it's Colt McCoy, but I'm not
You,
sure.
you ever
Dennis-
seen
I think it
a
is, yeah.
quarterback break contract in the middle of a season?
I feel sorry for Kyler Murray back there in the field.
Oh,
One
One
Gary,
of their
you're killing me.
one of their quarterbacks is just going to quit. Just
What?
quit.
Dennis
Yeah,
I'm
Daly.
done.
I'd
Screw
quit.
this contract.
You've been in the NFL for 2 years. Why are you retiring? That guy?
Dennis Daly was so bad. I mean, he even looked like a trash can at this point.
He probably tries to eat trash cans.
I mean, he was just trying to block the arrow instead of blocking. There was
Yeah.
a play where he got knocked over.
He
Yeah,
has
there was
double
one where he
vision, like the
He
song.
got pushed into the quarterback.
Yes, I remember. That's what I was
That's
thinking.
You're a 300-pound offensive lineman. You should be able to block those defenders that are coming toward you. You have
Well-
no right to sit there and block the air.
That's true, but most offensive linemen, they try to block. He was trying to tickle him.
If your quarterback
He
gets
became
sacked by
he
your
became
own
Elmo real quick, guys.
God.
Yeah. Like a bunch of Walmart employees.
You're making me laugh, bro.
Yeah, CJ Leader said, I've said that last year's O-line looked like a bunch of Walmart employees, which means they weren't there because it's self-checkout now.
Man.
That's too funny.
I should have threw a hot dog at Dennis Daly.
Get a duct.
I wouldn't even give him CJ. I wouldn't even give him Walmart employee status. I would say like
Actually,
Five Below
so
or
Gary,
Dollar Tree status.
I got a funny story. I never told you this, but
Let's hear
I
it.
I did when I was at the Denver Broncos game, right? I got a hot dog and I started eating it, and when I put it down for a second and it landed on the ground and rolled off the step and hit a Denver Broncos fan's head.
Oh man, you should have picked it up instantly and thrown it at Todd Downing.
I should have put mustard on it.
Like if you put mustard on it, then you could have ripped it in half and thrown one piece at Todd Downing and the other piece at Dennis Daly.
Perfect.
Todd Downing was bad. He was even bad at the game I was at.
Oh,
You know, one of the
my
crazy things about Todd Downing is how
daughter's
in the
wrecking
hell,
havoc right now.
with his absolute terrible play calling, so predictable and everything. What in the world did Vrabel do to get a team of backups to 12-5 in 2001 or 2021? Sorry. Like, what miracle other than our defense did we pull off in that season?
Miracle. Like literally.
Somebody was there with wings floating down. You know, they thought they were cameras.
Yeah,
Hey, thank you guys. We've been on here for 2 hours tonight.
Yeah, we've been rocking it tonight, man.
It's been fun.
I'm
That
about
was
ready
great.
to. I'm about ready to close it right here, guys.
Definitely, man.
Okay.
You
Thank-
got any final words you want to say?
Personally, just thank you for the invite. I can't wait for training camp to get rolling. I know it already has been for one day, but I just want to see more and more footage. I'm so excited about this team this year, and I'm so glad that that people aren't like wanting to tank. Now that Rand has put some life back into the team, D-Hop has put some life back into the team. All these signings from like Sam Fran and even Arden Key, we really stepped it up.
Fox, please go ahead and drop your social media right here.
Oh, you want me to share the show? I definitely will. I was planning on that anyway.
Share your social media with the tell the audience where they can find you.
Oh, okay. On Facebook, I'm under Titan Fox, just like it's spelled on the screen there. And on Twitter, I am at gdepnight.com. That's DEPKNIGHT. Or not? Did I say .com?
Getting late.
Well, we've been talking about Todd Downing too much.
Yeah, drop the
it's
.com,
rubbing
my
off on
bad.
us.
That's embarrassing. I apologize.
Don't, man, it's good.
Good.
All
What
right.
about you, Adam?
I
Adam,
appreciate y'all inviting me
got
on
any
tonight.
final words you want to say, man?
Absolutely.
And
I appreciate
please
you inviting me
make sure
on
you drop
tonight.
your-
It was a lot
Make
of
sure you
fun.
drop your social media last.
All right, sounds good. Like he said, I'm ready to see what this offense is going to look like. I'm ready I'm ready for this season to start. Honestly, I'm ready for some football. Really, you can find me on Twitter at Adam in the Burrow. That's really about the only social media leak I got. So.
I almost thought you said we're about to say get her done.
Oh,
Get her
no,
done.
I'm ready to get her done.
Done.
I appreciate it, guys.
So, you guys want to go ahead and get off, or hey, Titans Fox, I will see you next time, buddy.
You got it. You guys have a great night and stay safe.
You
Appreciate
too,
it, guys.
bud.
So,
Adam, you want to go ahead and get off, bud?
Yeah, man, I better get off here, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me on.
Bye, bud.
All right, y'all have a good one. See ya.
Yeah. Gary,
Oh,
you got a last few words you want to say?
I sure do. First of all, I want to thank Adam for joining us here tonight. I want to thank Titans Fox. I want to thank you.
Um, I want to thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure to have you on as a co-host spot, and I'm definitely. Do you want to go ahead and say some? Go ahead and drop your social media right here, man. Gary, I think Gary, I think he flows on me, buddy. What happened? Um, let me see here. Gary,
I'm back. Yeah, I
I
got a
think
couple last things I'd like to say real quick, Bryce. Sorry for my internet issues here on my PC. Uh, Definitely, we want to thank Titans Fox and Adam um, for coming on today. Uh, Also, want to thank everybody who's commented. Definitely give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel. Share it out to all your friends on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Just Twitter. Share us out. Instagram. Share it out so that way Bryce can get bigger. We can get bigger together as a
oh
family.
Gary,
Um,
by the way, I have a
Definitely,
merchandise.
guys, want to kind of throw out
I
our
have a
podcast, What's Shaking
merchandise.
Titans. You can find us on all
I have a
platforms:
merchandise
Facebook,
that
Instagram, Twitter. Our Twitter is at Get What's Gary. So
um
definitely check us out there. We'll be
excuse
doing
me,
a
Gary, I
return
have a
episode on August 5th. So stay tuned. We'll give the time that we'll be going live.
oh I'm just gonna go ahead and close it.